Hey, what's up? So I'm here in Norway in a city or near a city called Snåsa, and this is super fascinating. I've seen this house yesterday already. It's the summer residence of a guy called Otto Schulz, who passed away, I guess, 100 years ago or something. And this guy was super interesting. He was a German tycoon, like a business tycoon. In any case, he bought all this land here, and he built his summer residence here, and also built some other houses down there and a lot of other stuff. And this summer residence back here has been conserved largely. It has been restorated and changed up, obviously. Tons of nice old school furniture, kind of some scary and spooky stuff too, and some stuff that maybe could be useful for ASMR, and this is why I wanted to show it to you. So I would say, let's go. I wanted to show you this house, which is a very old school Norwegian house where you're gonna see what it is. It's more of a museum than a living house. It's very interesting and lovely. Alright, so here's a sign. I can't really understand the Norwegian one, but let's try the English one. Rich old Bearhunter Schultz summer residence, micro museum. The summer residence were built on the remains of a much older farmhouse around 1900s. The building were originally meant to be a hostel in connection with a steamship, which arrived at Oldernes Expedition Sky in those days. But the hostel did not really get going before the German tycoon, bear hunter, author, and proprietor Otto Schulz bought it as a summer residence together with the Oldernes property with its 10 kilometers of shoreline. The house was never to be inhabited on a regular basis, and its destiny seems to remain as a sleeping beauty, untouched in hundreds years. Its original intention as a hostel is partly re-established, though, as it is possible to rent by appointment. It beholds a simple standard as in the days of the rich old bear hunter, but you have to bring servants yourself. You are welcome to have a look inside and relax in the lounges, as long as the open sign is visible on door and not to be occupied, and not the occupied sign. Please leave shoes outside. No open fire without appointment. So here we are. So this is basically the old house of Otto Schulz, who was a bear hunter, but also an industrial guy who probably worked in industry. He had factories. Apparently he did work with the Krupp brothers and people who, as I know, were more into military stuff. Can you see this insane watch here? If it's possible to open this up somehow, but probably it isn't. Yeah, I don't think it is, but look at this dial. That's insane. What does it say? Ayo Lundstätte Ulrika Hamne. So, is that gold plated? I'm not sure. Now look at this. This is basically This has basically been a sleeping room. Can you see that? There's a camine. There's a beauty place, whatever that's called, a small cabinet for makeup, as they did have back in the day. And here is the bedroom, basically. If you can see it. That's amazing, isn't it? Wow. Can you see the suits there? Multi-part suits. That's incredible. this thing. So many pieces. Would you even still have that nowadays? I'm not even sure. That's amazing. And there's like a girl's dress and a woman's dress and a mosquito, mosquito net. And yeah, all of this is more of a, you could say, more of a museum. I'm just gonna open this up. There's even a book inside of there. Is that like a Bible or something? It is a Bible, I think. Let's look. Maybe it isn't the Bible, to be honest, I don't know. Alright, look at this. Interesting angel. That's interesting. Can you see the lake from here? Maybe you can. It's almost like surreal or something. I love this cabinet. Check this out. What is this? Oh. One of those shaving things. Let's look at the drawers. This almost looks like stomato concentrate, probably some kind of perfume back in the day. And this is really cool. Check this out. This is a small personal shaving set where you have different amazing things. That's for your nails. That is a small mirror. That's a vial for whatever you want to transport. That's a brush. That's another brush. Small clippers. Everything you need for your personal care routine. Alright. Then again, we have this cool... I'm not exactly sure who this couple up here is, if this is Otto Schultz. You have some cool suitcases up here. But okay, I would say let's go on. That's an amazing book. Maybe I'm gonna have a look at it later. Is there anything in here? Oh, a sleep mask. I need one of those. No. So this book is amazing. Maybe I'm gonna have a look at it later on. Alright, let's go to the living room, one of the living rooms / hunting room. Can you see that? Wow. That's pretty impressive. So basically here we have a real turkey. It's not really a turkey. Fasan would be the German word. I'm not going to touch it here, but yeah. Then we have here an interesting oven with a witch. It does very much look like a witch, even though maybe it doesn't really fit in here. Pretty crazy, right? We have a very old school oven up here. Then we have another Fasan animal up here. Yes, yes, yes. And here again we have this beautiful lake view outside. It's probably gonna be too dark right now because of the lights, but that's okay. That's a beautiful cupboard. Don't you think so? I think it's beautiful. Love to see what's inside. Nothing is inside. I love those. With all these small little items collected. Again, that's the room from here. I love this kind of, what is it even called? This kind of wall decoration thing. It looks almost like the French ones in Bretagne and so on. You have these old medieval drawings that are very old. Carpet, yeah, it's a wall carpet, I guess. And here we have this cool other animal with the horns. I'm sorry, I don't know it right now. Love those two. The small ones are cool as well. Alright, so here we have a small memorandum. We have a small Gästebuch. Here we have the map of the whole area. Oldernes Guard, treasure map, Sommerresidenz and everything. That's pretty amazing. So where are we right now? That's the camp, Hitte, right on the lake. But we're not here. Nameless Bay. So basically, this whole area was bought by Otto Schultz, this industrial guy, but now a Norwegian family who is actually a descendant of Otto Schultz bought this again. So the family here basically, okay, let me try to get it right. The family, no, Otto Schultz and his wife, Jeanette, they adopted a kid, a Norwegian kid, because they didn't have kids on their own. And this kid is the grandmother of the woman and her husband and the 4 kids who are now living here. That's basically right. So it's all pretty intense. Wow, look at this writing machine. I would love to have one of those as well at home. That's probably how this guy wrote his whole book. Spacebar, spacebar. A, S, D, F, G. They had a bit of a different angle here. I love this one, Underwood. So I think this is pretty interesting too. This is basically, if you can see it right, Otto Schultz. And it says here, Otto Schultz, by his grand piano in front of his art collection. He did own an Edvard Munch painting, a version of Pekin Pabron, Maids on a Bridge. But as the family lacked money after some dubious affairs during World War II, they sold the painting for 18,000 kroner in 1952, which I think nowadays is only about, I think, 1,800 US dollars or something. A local journalist recently tracked down the painting and found it sold on a New York auction in 2016 for 455 million kroner, which I think it's approximately divided by 10, 45 million. So instead of getting 45 million, they only got $1,000. Really sad. So one of the paintings up here was apparently an Edvard Munch, maybe even this one. And you probably know this painter. And I think this was basically the grandmother who was adopted. And you see her here on a bear, on a bear skin, basically. And you see some other pictures of her. That's all pretty interesting. And this guy, Otto Schultz, he actually wrote a book called Im Banner des Nordlichts, which you can purchase here, where he basically explains his hunting tactics, and he goes into history of Norway and so on. It's really interesting. I've started reading it, but I'm not really that far. There's even some kind of painting, Im Banner des Nordlichts. Who is this? I'm not sure. So another quite lovely, interesting room we got here. Yes. Norge. That's lovely. I'm not exactly sure who those people are on the board here, but in any case, this is lovely too. Look at this small miniature boat. think there's anything up here. Oh, that's a whole set of items. Another small oven. Some small soldiers up here. Are these mice or soldiers? I'm not sure. Some beautiful paintings. And we have a small kitchen up here. Not that small actually. Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at those old brass tools. I just knocked against something. I like them. Do you see this thing up here? Probably maybe for pasta or something, or for meat grinding. For making minced meat maybe. Look at this big one. You could club somebody to death with this. This one is cool. It's for making tea. Some of them aren't ancient, so to say, but a lot of them are pretty ancient. I think a lot of those items in here look very cool. Look very... I would love to have them at home as well. What's up here? A lot of this has obviously been reconstructed after a certain while. Can I get out here? I'm not sure if I can get out of here. Some other cool ancient tools up here. Some cool tools up here. Herdemel, redemel, potesmel, skuta, klipetsuka. That's sugar probably on the right, and some kind of flour. Yes, that's basically a part of it. Oh, I love this feather up here. But yeah, this room is both cozy and a bit scary because of all the animals. It's gonna be a bit dark down here. What's in here? I don't even know for sure. Ah, that's another room. Right. Look at this. I hope you can see something because it's quite bright outside. The images become somewhat dark. But, yep. Here you can see a small toy house for kids. It's actually pretty well made, crazy. There's a small table, there's a small doll in there. I think like the wealthier families probably had these kind of doll houses. Here there's even like an oven, so you can already practice becoming a good housewife. I know unfortunately back in the day this was probably the idea. Wow, that's interesting. This looks Hotel Victoria. This looks like a French painting, Paris painting. This is a very nice table where that's probably the eating room, right? Look at these fancy different at this table. I mean, you can see all of these things are very solid wood. There's a beautiful kitchen. Another beautiful kitchen. I love it. Wow, this is great. Another beautiful kitchen. I like those. Can you open this cupboard? No, probably not. Okay. So yeah, this is a pretty cool. Actually, Larissa, my girlfriend, she really likes this one. She really likes the look of it. It's kind of a, I mean, the flowers maybe not so much, but the color is pretty beautiful yellow. We have a pretty large painting of some woman, it seems. Those are interesting, kind of, let's maybe sit down. Furniture which aren't really built anymore. I think it's basically some kind of like couch, which with only one part elevated, like the Romans used those, and also at the psychotherapist's office, you would probably have one of those as well. I love the piano. Can I sit down here for a second? Oof, I'm pretty low. Not really well tuned, I gotta say, but that's to be expected. I love this book. Check it out. Helgoland. I think I can play this. Snåsa songin. That's the place we're at, Snåsa. There's a song about Snåsa that's amazing. Edelweiss by Van der Beek. Fritz Kreisler, Klavierwerke. I'm not sure if I know this one. Alright. Can you see that? Does it still work? That's enough. Did you see this beautiful boat up here? Wow. This is fancy as hell. Can you see that? Wow. What is that? I think maybe the family here, they basically, the man here is able to build these miniatures. That's a cool oven too. Check this out. Boom. Can you see it? Ooh. There's like a gap in between here. There's some old money here. Is that even Norwegian? Krona. NOK. That's a different currency, probably. Tons of different currencies. And here I would love to go take like a whole afternoon to read these different books up here. That would be so cool. But yeah, maybe later. Because there's another floor which I want to show you too. Let's check it out. Can you see this big fish? So apparently it's an 18.7 kilogram fish that somebody caught here, and yeah, as you can see, it's pretty large. But the interesting part comes here. It's an actual bear. Let's go up so I can show it to you. Here it is. So that's, as I said, Otto Schultz was a bear hunter, and he basically, this is one of his trophies, probably. And I mean, you could say trophies, but I think brown bears can pose a risk, and there haven't been any brown bear attacks in 100 years, which is good, but I'm just going to assume it wasn't just for pleasure, but people were actually grateful for these insane predators, insanely dangerous predators, to be reduced in population size. But yeah, some people will not agree with me, of course. Here we have some different real elk heads, basically, and probably deers as well. And we have that same turkey-like animal as well. If you have grandparents who lived a bit outside, they probably have similar things too. Is that like a leather? That's a leather suit. That's interesting. Can you hear that? It really seems like this is some kind of leather thing, so I'm not sure if this really belonged to him. But that's kind of like, looks like Neo from the Matrix-like stuff. That's not a real chain, okay. And that's interesting. That's like a real, That's a heavy thing. Whew. That's a military helmet. I wonder what this is for. And here we have some small figurines. Some Indian, some cowboys, a few different ones. We even have a few different books. I think maybe they're kind of like Kalmai, about cowboys and Indians. The person who made the restoration probably put them here. Then we have some people who lived here in the city, some kind of, Staten Skogskole Finzas, not sure exactly. Maybe all the people living in the States, pretty small. And then again, we have these really fancy three-piece suits, or whatever you want to call them, cavaliere. We have a real walking cane up here. And we also do have the coolest thing ever, the Imperator cleaning machine that people back in the day apparently used for cleaning. So this was the biggest trend probably. There are some brushes down there, and then if you move this, it's apparently pretty good. That's nice. Alright, as you can see, it's a pretty big place. We do have another sleeping place in here, which, with a small baby's critter, is that the word? We have a lot of interesting books in here. We have this kind of almost altar, but with a lot of cool comic books, it almost seems. And we have a book here. We have a small cupboard here. What's there? Are these shoes? It's kind of creepy. Still look like baby's shoes. Can you see them? I'm just gonna keep them in here. What's in here? No, I don't know how to get this. These are interesting games. Do you remember them? You have to find the right order, so to say. And then you probably have to turn them around to find the right place too. Kind of tricky stuff. Kind of like a puzzle thing, you could say. Another really cool looking oven. A cool small cupboard, you could say. Look, there's tons of other books as well in here. But in any case, do you know those things? They're pretty cool. You could say that's like a makeup kit. That's pretty cool, right? So you can put individual stuff in here. You can open this up as well. And close it up again. Open it up. And here again you have some hidden compartments. That's cool, isn't it? Alright. Small baby critter with a funny doll. Funny or creepy, whatever you want to call it. Alright, can you see this? Somebody was a fan of like old Indian books and comics. Solve Peelan, Tex Willer. I mean, in Germany the most famous ones are Karl May, probably, with Old Shatterhand and Winnetou. But there's tons of other ones, obviously, with probably good. Do you know Meki? That's this weird hedgehog kind of guy. I think he was like a comic book figure too, if you can see it, even too much of a reflection. And you can see a partial map of where we are right now, Lofoten Island. And we're not there yet. Where we are right now is approximately, hard to say, maybe here somewhere. Yeah, we're not all the way up there. in any case. So, should I leave this open? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this open. If I'm not mistaken, even though this looks a bit scary, this is just a kind of chaos room where there's tons of stuff in here. So as you can see, this smells like paint, but kind of a storage room for now. A big collection of records. I think one person here collects records for sure. The Tempest, that's cool. Christmas Cantata. Forêt, oh, I like this. This is one of my favorite classic songs. Honegger, Klaus Egge, Klavierkonzert. This is more classic music. Mozart, Requiem. This was definitely an interesting piece. Hamburger, Stravinsky, Sacre du Printemps, Orff, Camina Burana, yes, well known. These are all good pieces. What is that? Sleva Mikit. Wow, Tsaba Lindner and the Rhythm Renaissance. Jan Egum. That's cool too. Wow, look at this cover. Alan Parsons Project. Amazing. Gary Newman. Cool stuff. Associates. The Associates, perhaps. The Associates, perhaps. Visage. Don't know this. Who's that? Westernhagen, it's a German guy. Don't love him. New World Dream, Simple Minds. That's an interesting cover. Look at the cool artwork. Ultravox Quartet. The Sound for the Lion's Mouth. Manfred Mann's Earth Band. Eurythmic. Deep Purple. Oh, I like this cover. Wow. Yellow. You gotta say yes to another excess. Boys and Girls. What's that? Section 25 from the hip. That's David Bowie. Definitely something interesting. Wow, I like this cover. Veslafrik, Chameleon. We have some Marvin Gaye, which is still in the original packaging. Some Marvin Gaye. Bête Noire. I feel almost a bit bad looking into this, but this is amazing. James Brown, Gravity, cool. Frank Sinatra, Hello Dolly, Louis Armstrong, Chuck Berry. Here's Little Richard, Child's Adventure. Alright, we got all of this cool stuff. Amazing. So, yeah, let's maybe get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let's check out what else we have going on here. That's cool. Another sleeping room, one of the 10,000 different sleeping places we have here. This is one that many people in Germany had. My grandmother too. It's a Märklin-Bahn, I would say. Those are super cool. Can you see them? You can put like some electricity on it and then it's actually running. With these small things you can choose the tracks. And then basically you have these. These were pretty expensive back in the day, but such a cool hobby. Everybody loved those. And look at how lovely those small miniature houses look. Those small miniature houses and the small trees. And what is this even? It's a small wood cabin. That's I don't even know, it's a small castle. That looks amazing. Everything is a bit dark here. You have a pretty big house up here. I love this. But it doesn't run for now. Actually, yeah, that's the thing. You have to plug there and then you can make it go quicker. And there's even, yeah, some electricity running up here. You have some cool cupboards up here. Yep, you do. You have Uncle Scrooge. I never read those, but are they like rare or something? I don't know. Donald Duck, Walt Disney's comics, Uncle Scrooge, Walt Disney comics, Percival Keene, that looks cheesy, Conquest, yes. Okay, this thing is actually amazing. Alright, so this is basically a bed. It's pretty intense, right? Oof. This was exhausting. Alrighty, so we have some old school maps in here. Check this out. Back in the day when Germany was much bigger. That's how big Germany was back in the day. Czechoslovakia was a bit longer. Yugoslavia, that's now different. It's Bosnia, Montenegro, and Croatia, and Albania, and all these places. So, interesting, right? Some old school maps. And here we have northern country map too. And a small bed as well. Whew. Ah, that's cool too. Didn't even show it. That's an old weaving machine. Which, to be honest, I don't know how to use it. Boom, boom. I think you should have something down here with a foot that you could be using. Then you have this one, this lever, which you can be moving somewhere. Ooh. Yep. And then we have this one, this cool book about hand weaving, but I'm not gonna open it up. Then we have two differently themed rooms as well. One is kind of like mermaid themed, you could say. It's kind of funny, you can almost look outside and then it's you can't go open this up, but it's interesting for sure. This is like a Malta themed room, Consulate of Malta, and you can see the according linens. That's another beautiful chair, I think. And then we have an Africa themed room, which I think is sweet as well. Check this out. Check this out. Ooh, this looks a bit scary, to be honest. It's like a devil's mask. I'm not sure why. There's another small oven, of course. Then you have electricity up here, but look at this mask. I remember once playing a game, it was like an adventure game where you had some African mask in your room, and then hell broke loose, and it was just, you could just like click around, and I'm not even sure. Like you did find some bones in the garden and everything. It was kind of scary. Just kind of a cool old school adventure. And in any case, we have these things which are typical for a part of Africa. I'm not sure which one, to be honest. This is really cool Mayan thing. This looks more South American, to be honest. And this is Egypt, obviously. And we have a cool drum as well. This is pretty cool art. I like it. Very bright and shiny. And yeah, that's the Africa room. Africa themed room. So I would say there was a good part of the whole museum slash old school place. You also have a sign here, open or occupied, but right now it is open for sure. And let's go a bit further. down here in the garden again. Boom, boom, boom. You have this cute small outdoors area for eating. You have a pretty old school stone table and bench. And then you have another cute garden up here. This is like what it looks like from the outside. And then you have this amazing view down to the lake. That's what the house looks like. You have a small balcony up here. A bit dangerous for the kids maybe. But what I still wanted to show you is there's another lake down there. Another side of the lake. This place is so cool. I want to show you the toilet. Very old school toilet, I would say. This is another house I'm going to show you in a second. This is the pretty old school toilet that you see here. Let's check it out. Boom, boom. This is small. Look at this. Just keep it open. You have 4 different sizes for all the bears. Not the bears, hopefully. But, yep, that's basically it for the father. For the mama bear, you get this one. And here for the baby bear number 1, you get this one. Oop. Baby bear number 2, really small baby bear. Yep. And here, I don't know which animal this is for. There's even an interesting picture down here, but yeah. And this house is interesting too, / a bit creepy. That's another toilet, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not even sure what this is, per se, but it does move a bit. But this, I could imagine that this was once a servant's room, and now it's kind of infested with mice. Why does it open so hard? It's like a ghost is pulling this thing. It's a heavy thing. So yeah, it's a bit, I don't know if you're gonna see any mice up here. Rats, hopefully no bears. So yeah, unfortunately, as you can see here, this nice chair was eaten up by mice. But some other really cool antique pieces that you can see in here. And you could technically even walk upstairs. This door is heavy. I was like, there's a ghost pulling on it. So there's another cute. I mean, this place alone is super cute. I love it. I mean, kind of looks like this one horror movie, to be honest, where this girl was hiding up there. Maybe The Ring? Yeah, The Ring. But whatever. Let's just hope this isn't The Ring, okay? Then we have this small, pretty cozy room as well. And yeah, that's basically it. I think I'm gonna leave. I'm kind of spooked out. Oof. Alrighty. So I gotta use this thing again. Boom. So yeah. In any case, I wanted to show you this is actually a Swedish style house from the roof. Let me just briefly show it to you. Can you see that? If I zoom in a bit up, this is actually more of a Swedish style house. And I could imagine that back in the day it was for the servants. because yeah, back in those days people still had servants, and this guy Otto Schulz was probably a very wealthy man if he was able to buy all this land. So I'm just imagining that that's basically how it turned out. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's it. All right, look at this beautiful lake here. Wow, beautiful.